לא שברתי שילמתי, לך תמצא על מי לכעוס. אין אוויר בשמיים, איך אפשר לנשום? הכל תקוע במקום, אבל עוד לא הפסקתי לחלום. אז קפצתי למים כי צריך לשחות, במים לא רואים דמעות, במים ישקעו חולות שזוכרים רק בלילות. עולים קולות ושאלות אבודות מחפשות תשובה, בקרוב זה בא. רסיסים, למה זיכרונות נמסים? כמה שאני לא כיסיתי זה נכנס לי בתריסים. אין על מי לשים את הראש, גם אם לא שברתי שילמתי, לך תמצא על מי לכעוס. מחפשות תשובה, ועכשיו זה בא. רסיסים, למה זיכרונות נמסים? כמה שאני לא כיסיתי זה נכנס לי בתריסים. אין על מי לשים את הראש, גם אם לא שברתי שילמתי, לך תמצא על מי לכעוס.
מקווה שאת עוד שומרת רגעים שמחים למזכרת. פעם אנשים עוד כתבו לך כאן שירים על מחברת. זוכרת היפהפייה נרדמת, עד מתי תהי מדממת? ברחובות כולם אין חלון ואין סולם, אין גם דלת או שלט. אז שר לך שיר ישן, שיר ישן, שיר ישן, נשאר לך נאמן, נאמן, לעולם, לעולם. הנביאים חזו לך אחרת, מישהו נרדם במשמרת. איפה החלום? אין אמת ואין שלום, אין גם צדק, רק צדק. אז שר לך שיר ישן, שיר ישן, שיר ישן, נשאר לך נאמן, נאמן, לעולם, לעולם.
Okay, everyone, I think we're going to get started. A number of other people are trying to get in the Zoom, but in the interest of all of those of you that came punctually on time to the session, I want to be very respectful of all of your time. So friends from all across the world, thank you for joining us here today. Once again, just showing your solidarity and commitment to Israel and to the Jewish people. My name is Sam Robinson, and I'm really deeply honored, and in fact, at this time more than ever before, to work on behalf of the Jewish Agency for Israel, partnering with communities everywhere to cultivate local capacity, harness relative strengths, and address ongoing and emerging challenges. We've got to day 19 of the conflict here in Israel, the brutality of which has seen more than 1,400 killed, over 5,000 injured, and hundreds of thousands internally displaced. But among all of these atrocities, The most heart-wrenching of all is the 220 plus who remain captive in Gaza. Israelis and foreign nationals, carers and peace activists, elderly, people with disabilities, children, and babies. Yet somehow with every passing day, the world's sympathies seem to be shifting in favor of the Gazans, with mass rallies and protests calling for Israel to show restraint, and in some of the worst cases, calling for the complete destruction of Israel and the eradication of the Jewish people. With these devastating trends, it's becoming more and more critical that our voices are heard, that governments and those of influence from all around the world join us in this most essential mission to bring them home now. Over this next hour, you'll be hearing from some of the most remarkable individuals who are at the forefront of global initiatives to support the families of hostages, as well as the moving testimonials of a dear colleague and friend who herself has family members being held in Gaza. It is imperative that we work together to bring this to the forefront of the world's attention and push for the wide-scale intervention at this critical hour. But first, I'm pleased to introduce a woman that at this point probably needs no introduction. Ayelet Nachmias-Verbin, our chair of JReady and the Fund for Victims of Terror at the Jewish Agency. By the way, please feel free at any point to use the chat for comments, questions, and we'll try to address most of them during the session. Also, I wanted to note that this Zoom is being recorded and we'll share the recording, make it available for you in the coming days. So Ayelet, the screen is yours.
Hi guys. First of all, I want to thank you all for joining. I came from a funeral just now. Our days look like nothing, like a nightmare that we could have never imagined that would take place in Israel within our borders. You know, this is one of the crazy things that we don't let ourselves think about too much, because I think that if we think about it too much, we're just going to go crazy. I came from a funeral of a mother and two daughters from Kibbutz Be'eri, whose father is still missing, and apparently his brother is in captive. And you're standing there and you see three graves. And I think one of the most horrendous things that have happened to us in the past 21 days is that, like a three-grave scene, you know, we see five-grave scenes. We see scenes that are really unbelievable. I want to thank you all for joining us. It was very, very important for Sam and all of us, for Yael and Lior, who's in reserve duty, as you can see still, and probably going to be there for a while. Lior, I'm sorry. So it seems. It was very important for me to join you tonight for the conversation that you're going to have. Of course, the presentation by our very, very special and professional guests. And I really want to thank you both for agreeing to do this. But it was also important for me to make sure that you have some additional information that you could use with your communities. And for that purpose, we have Hadar, who joins us from Keshet. And I hope also Omer will be joining us soon. I don't know if Tali Goren from Keshet is the leading television in Israel, but it's much more than just a television. I should probably tell you that I appear on Keshet on a daily basis. That's channel 12. But it's not because of that that I asked them to join me. Being as professional as they are, from the very, very start, the very beginning of the war, they have decided that what we call in Israel hasbara, which means PR, you know, explaining what's going on in Israel, which always seems like the hardest task of all, that we will really be equipped with information that on the one hand is horrendous, but on the other hand is not graphic. One of the problems that we face here is that we have trouble showing what really, really happened here. I'm not going to speak about the graphics of it all, but we know that things that have not even happened during the Holocaust happened here and now in Israel 2023. So Mako, which is the leading website that is a part of Channel 12 group, Omer and Hadar, the whole team have made special short movies that are available, and they will speak about it in 1 minute, that are available and that you can use in your communities. From my perspective, and that is why it was important for me that they joined today, we have Tali Goren with us, who's also a member of the public committee of JReady. It was important for us to have them here because I think that is part of the resilience of the communities. This is what we owe you during Swords of Iron. We really owe this to you, so you can go back to your communities and explain the things like Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the UN, said yesterday, and I think he should be fired. I think this is one of the Western world's missions, should be now that he goes out, that he leaves his position, that he's fired from his position. He can't say that a terrible event that happened, the terrible terror attack that happened on Shabbat, October 7th, did not happen in a vacuum, trying to find excuses for these monsters. Or Queen Rania of Jordan, a person that I thought was most beautiful, and I can't look at her, saying there are no evidence for decapitated babies. I don't think the world would stand the horror of what Israel has to show. But having said that, I think Mako have found the in-between way, which will allow you to share with your community something that will make you strong, being a part of the Jewish world, being a part of us, of JReady, and being part of everything that we do in the Jewish Agency. And this is an opportunity to thank you, send you a hug from afar, and thank you for your continuous support. Sam, take it from here.
Thank you so much, Ayelet. So at this point, we'd like to introduce Tali Goren and Hadar from Keshet TV, from Mako, and they would like to share a few words with you.
Thank you, Sam. Hi. Thank you, Sam, and thank you very much, Ayelet, for having us here. In this crucial time, I want to give Hadar to talk to you and to speak about this project, this very, very important project that we take the responsibility to tell the world what happened here at October 7th. Hadar, go ahead. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Hadar. Thank you for having me. I apologize that Omer, who is chief editor of Mako, is not here with us. He's in charge of dozens and dozens of reporters, and he's going through TV studios. So he asked if I could be the one presenting what we did in the past 2 weeks now, I think. And actually, I prepared a very short presentation, but 5 minutes before we went online, I realized that this whole session is going to be in English. So if you could bear with me, the slides will be in Hebrew, but I will go through it in English. But I think it would be, even if it would be in Hebrew, it would be self-explanatory. Hold on, I'll just make sure I have my sound when I share. And let me just know that you can see my my screen.
Yeah, we can see Hadar just in editing mode.
Yes, we can see it.
In editing mode or in full screen?
In editing mode. It's
Editing mode, Hadar.
Okay.
Editing mode.
No worries. We'll try this one again. How about now?
Yeah, fine.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you. It's a short one. Don't worry. I will go through it because it was really important to show you like the backstage of what we went through. So as everyone else did, we woke up Saturday morning, and in our case, we realized we have two reporters that are in the line of fire. It was Shai Levy, who is our military reporter who lives in Kibbutz Nirim, and Michal Koren, who is our health reporter. And you can actually see here, I did like a screenshot of the group speaking with them. Shai texting at 9 o'clock, I have terrorists in my home. And Michal sending also messages saying, I don't know where the army here, terrorists are all over the place. And this is how we started our morning, realizing slowly that something different is happening. I think as Sunday progressed, we really quickly realized that we needed to tell all of the stories that are piling up and getting heard in English. And it was really quickly that we organized ourselves into a really quick but very organized way of working, where we had our me with Omer and 2 other people getting decisions, prioritizing messages, taking different scripts that were coming from 3 different groups that we set up. And each group had people writing scripts, people who are taking materials from the TV, video editing, translation. So each group, we had 3 groups like that, and we simply sent out materials and scripted those groups to start getting them to creating of the content. I think 2 of the main parameters which helped us succeed, and I will show you later on the numbers and the impact, is the fact that basically this is what we do. We are a content company, and we're also in charge of distribution. In the part of the content, we have the field people who know how to tell the stories. We have immediate access to all filmed material coming from the TV screen, coming from reporters on the ground. And we have in-house all editing facilities, creative people, designing people. So everything is in-house, basically for our everyday work, which is not PR work. And on the distribution part, we have a really strong Instagram page. We really quickly understood that Instagram was the place where everything is happening. We have 2 major portals, which is Mako and N12. And of course, the TV screen, channel 12. And we have a very strong PR spokesman division, which has a really long influence and abilities. And with that, we started working. In the center of this whole project is our Instagram page. Everything that we do is published on the Instagram page and shared through it. And so in lines of distribution, we started using the screen, the TV screen, to call out to people and tell them, go into our Instagram page and share what the films in English that we're putting up. I just want to show you if it's working. Yeah, a quick example. It's in Hebrew, but I'm sure some of you will understand.
שכל העולם ידע. עשרות סרטים באנגלית מחכים לכם עכשיו, בעמוד האינסטגרם של מאקו. היכנסו ושתפו.
Go in and share, and this was going in the breaks and in the whole programming on the TV. You can see here like graphic going on the content on TV with the same messages.
Hadar,
we have
Hadar,
sorry.
Hadar, can you make sure that you put a link of the Mako Instagram page on the chat?
Yes, I will.
That's so important. Thank you.
Okay, before I leave you, it will be there. This is Omer, and every day he was sitting in the studios during the programs, talking about the project and explaining why it is us that are doing the job and what kind of material people can find and share in our web Instagram page. And also, of course, we did a whole display ads and banner ads and Facebook ads in the digital area. Alongside with RPR people, we started reaching out to major Israeli influencers, particularly the ones that have international audiences. I'll just name a few of them: Omri Kaspi, and Ayelet Zorer, and Ashley Bakshi, and Rotem Sela, and Yehuda Levi, and Noah Kirel, and Bar Rafaeli. These are just to name a few of the people who are sharing our content via their their Instagram pages. And as far as content was concerned, we were managing to create somewhere in the lines of 10 new content videos every day. And we were looking at data to see which ones are working the best. And with that data, we decided what are the new movies that we will create. I want to show you just one example. This is a short video from with the Nova Festival in the center of it. And as you can see, the numbers of reach for each one of these video clips, and the number of shares that each, and this is one of the things that we learned really quickly. People are looking to be emotionally moved, and these are some of the videos that had the biggest numbers, if you can say that. Going to the end, this is basically the dashboard that we're looking into every day. As of today, we had 172 different video content clips that we created that reached, that had 90 million views with almost 500,000 shares. You can see how it's from the day that we started until yesterday. This is our Instagram page that used to have like 300,000 reach per day, and how it's jumped into like 2.5 million reach per day. Some of the responses that we're getting, people who are commenting our work and using the video clips that we're sending out. This is the last video, is the video that we've put out today to the TV screens with some numbers and final request for people to keep on and doing the good work that they've been doing by sharing and letting the world know. And that is it. Thank you.
Hadar, thank you so much. And thank you to all the team at Mako and Keshet. Please do share whatever resources can be relevant in whatever languages they are available. Share them in the chat and make sure that our friends and partners around the world are able to access them. So now I'd like to invite our key speaker for the session, Professor Moran Yarchi, who is the head of the Public Diplomacy Program and the Digital Influence and Perception Specialization at Reichman University. And she is now, in all the no spare time that she has, volunteering at the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. So we're so grateful for you, Moran, being with us and sharing about your volunteer work at this time. And as I mentioned earlier, we're also very grateful to be joined by Dalia Cusnir, who is the Director of Immersive Experiences at the Jewish Agency, and sadly has relatives who are currently being held hostage in Gaza. And she's agreed to share with us about her family and the testimony for you all here today. Moran.
Okay, thank you, Sam, and thank you everybody for coming and willing to listen and to hear a little bit about our reality. I know that Jewish people around the world are suffering too, and it's not obvious and not taken for granted that all of you are here and are supporting us and are willing to be our partners in this important mission. As Sam said, I'm a political communication professor from Reichman University. And in the last 2 weeks or so, I've been volunteering in the Hostages and Missing Families Forum. The forum itself was created the day after the horrific attack on the Gaza envelope area, when we learned that on top of all the atrocities that those terrorists had conducted to our people, so many of them have been taken hostage. In the beginning, we didn't know exactly how, what numbers are we talking about, how many people are being held hostage, but as the information unfolded, we came to realize that we're talking about over 200 people. Now we're talking about approximately 222 every day. We have new families joining this vicious cycle of being a family member of hostages due to different information that comes in. So a few days after the forum was founded, I was asked to come in and serve as an advisor to the forum due to my research and specialization in media and conflict, public diplomacy, media and terror, and other fields as well. And I'm really, really happy that I have the ability to assist them, because it is the most important mission we have as Israelis now. So I can tell you that it's one of the most important things I've been doing these days, and I'm involved in various public diplomacy activities, but I think that that is the most important mission we have as Israelis. If it's okay, Sam, can I share a video?
Yeah, of course, you should be able to.
Okay, great. So I want to start with that, just to give you a sense of the people we are fighting for.
מה שאני רוצה הכי הרבה בלב?
כשאין מילים את מתרגשת, אתה אבא שלי.
More passion, more passion.
So as you can see, we're talking about ordinary people, citizens, waking up in the middle of a missile attack on their villages, kibbutzim, cities, many young people that were celebrating together in a music festival really close to the Gaza area. And all of them found themselves in the midst of this horrific attack and went through terrible incidents, watching their family members being slaughtered. I won't go into too many details, but those terrorists didn't make any distinctions. They had taken hostage and kidnapped babies, children, people with disabilities, women, men, elderly people, in this ISIS-like terror attack. Every Israeli, Jewish or non-Jewish, even some non-Israelis, were all legitimate targets. And what we are trying to do in the last 2.5 weeks is to do everything humanly possible to get them back home, because that's what we need to do. We're talking about around 30 children that are being held hostage. We're talking about people with different medical situations that needs drugs. Just a few days ago, I was talking to one of the mothers, and she was telling me that she has breathing issues, and each time she uses her inhaler, she feels terrible because she knows her son that has similar issues cannot use his while he's being held hostage. So as I mentioned, the family forum was initiated a day following the attack, while by actually a father of one of the hostages, by Malki Shem Tov, his son Omer is being held hostage by Hamas. He was kidnapped from the music festival in Nova. And the forum itself is situated in Tel Aviv, and every day their actions are also in Tel Aviv and online, because we're trying to communicate the message and spread out their stories, because we believe that's the best tool we have these days in order to bring them back. We're talking about 1,500 volunteers. Everybody in the Families Forum is a volunteer. People that are psychologists, PR people, different therapists, students that just come and help, people that help create the stories of the victims, people from media industry, but also legal advisors, and you name it. We have volunteers from every group and section of the Israeli society. All are working together in order to bring home the hostages. So just a little bit about the activities of the forum. We have different desks that deal with different issues. So the most important desk is the desk that supports the families of the hostages, supports them with any assistance that they may need, if it's an emotional assistant or physical or medical assistant. We have people that are on a day-to-day basis in touch with the families and provide them with everything we can. Secondly, we have a very large desk that deals with media, PR, social media. We're working in various countries. We have some internal media efforts within Israel, but we're working on a large scale, trying to target international communities. Now, usually when we're thinking about international communities, you can imagine that a lot of the efforts goes to the United States and Europe, but due to Hamas's connections in the Arab world, and specifically in Qatar and other countries, we are also operating in those countries, trying to influence public opinion, to reach decision makers, and to try to make a real impact in order to be able to release our hostages and bring them back as soon as possible. We have a desk that collects all the data about the hostages, about their family, about their stories, about their needs, and so on. We have a diplomatic desk that deals specifically with diplomats around the world trying to reach decision makers. We have a negotiation desk with people that have been, some of them have been the representatives of Israel in previous rounds in which we had hostages held by terror organizations. And we have an international legal team that works alongside other experts. And if needed, we will also use legal actions to the best of our abilities. Now, all of this is a civic society organization. All of it is run by volunteers. We try to work alongside the government, alongside with the special mission to release the hostages of the government. We also try to spread the word as much as possible, and that's exactly where you guys blend in the picture, because we need you. We need your support. I think that the best tool that we have right now is people sharing our story, sharing the victim story. Now, I'm sure all of you are very familiar with the geopolitical situation in Israel and with the way the Israeli society is actually conducting itself. So you probably know that Israel is a very tiny place. And it means that there's no house now in Israel that doesn't know somebody that is either a victim, a survivor, a casualty, or a hostage in this horrific attack that took place on October 7th. I can tell you personally that a few days ago, after a few days that he was missing, I found out that one of my childhood friends is being held hostage by Hamas, while his family members, 2 daughters and wife, luckily survived the attack. But part of what we need to understand is that because Hamas is such a brutal terror organization, they don't let the Red Cross come in. And we know nothing about the hostages. We don't know anything about their medical situation. We don't know anything about their whereabouts. We don't know how many of them had survived the attack. So we are in the Families Forum trying to do everything possible to support the families, but also to reach the widest audience possible, so they will share our story. So what I want to do next is actually put a few links in the chat, so all of you can follow our pages, and here is all of our social media pages. And if you can share the stories of the hostages and let other people know what's going on in Israel, that can be an extremely important mission for all of us. I'm also sharing the link of the official webpage, in which you can go in and see specific stories of specific hostages. And I do hope that that all of you can share our story and help us bring them back home, because I think that that can give us all some comfort in a really complex reality we've been all going through. One thing I haven't told you, and I should, I live up north, very close to the northern border. And I don't know if you can hear it, but every once in a while there's a blast or bombing close to me. Usually it's our side returning fire. But I did want to mention that if at any point you'll see my kids run in, it's because I'm in the safe room, the shelter in my house. And I told them that if there is a siren, they should run into the shelter, even though I'm on Zoom. So I think that between hearing a little bit about October 7th, hearing a little bit about the Families Forum, and a little bit about our day-to-day reality now in the north and in the south, I hope you got a little sense of what all of us have been going through in the last 2.5 weeks. I want to ask Dalia to join us. Dalia, as Sam mentioned, works in the Jewish Agency. And she was kind enough to open her heart and share the story of her family members that are being held hostage. So Dalia, thank you so much.
Toda. Thank you, Moran. Thank you, Sam, and everyone for the opportunity and the invitation. I work at the Jewish Agency for many, many years. I've never imagined I'd be sitting in this conversation on the other side as someone who's invited to tell a story. I live in Kfar Saba in the center of Israel. I'm married. My husband, his name is Amos. We have 2 kids. And I want to share with you the story of my 2 brothers-in-law, Yair and Eitan Horn. Yair is 45, and Eitan is 38. Both of them grew up in Argentina, and they were raised in a very Zionist Israeli home. So by nature, once they finished high school or had the first opportunity, they made Aliyah and came to Israel. Yair came after the high school and joined the army right away. After the army, he returned to Argentina for a few years. He studied radio and worked for a few years doing radio programs. Eitan came when he was 16 to an Ale program, actually, of the Jewish Agency. Later on, he served the army, and after the army, he dedicated all his time to education. He worked as a madrich, counselor in different kibbutzim. He was shaliach of the Jewish Agency in Peru. He was tutor in Naale program lately. He worked with Ukrainian teens who made Aliyah in the middle of the war. And his current work was with the Machanot HaOlim youth movement here in Israel. But what I wanna tell you, which for me is the most important thing about them, is that both of them are the most amazing uncles to my kids. From taking them to football games, building new wooden toys to them, buying them all the candies that I never allow them, and mostly giving them so much love and joy. Sam, can you share the picture, please? This is a picture. There you go. This is a picture of the 3 of them, the 3 siblings. The one in the middle is my husband. As you can see in all the pictures, someone is laughing because they have such a special relationship. Since I knew them, I was always jealous in a good way for this special relationship and how they rely on each other and how they just do everything together. On Saturday, October 7th, we woke up at 6:30 a.m. From the siren. We ran away fast to the safe room with the kids. And once we were inside the safe room and closed the door, the first thing my husband did was call his brother Yair. Yair is the one on the right, and Eitan is the one on the left. He called Yair to see if he's okay. Yair lives in kibbutz Nir Oz, which is very close to the border with Gaza. Yair said he was okay in the safe room, and he was with Eitan, who actually lives in Kfar Saba, but he went to visit Yair for the weekend. So the 2 of them were inside the safe room. We tried to go back to sleep. It was 6:40 something. It was Shabbat, so we wanted to rest. We tried to go back to sleep, but once we opened the news, we were horrified by everything we saw. So we started calling them and texting them, saying if they saw terrorists, if they had terrorists inside their houses, and they just kept on answering the same thing. They're okay, and they're at the safe room. I don't know if there was something else that they didn't want to tell us, or they didn't want us to be worried, or what. But the last message we got from them was at 8:28. 8:30 a.m. in the morning, saying once again they're okay and they're sitting inside the safe room. we kept on texting them throughout the whole day, and there was no answer. At first, we were kind of optimistic, and we said, okay, maybe they ran out of battery, or they just don't have like signal inside the sheltered room. We tried texting and asking some other friends that we know in the kibbutz, and everyone kept telling us that everyone is inside their houses. Terrorists are working all around the kibbutz, shooting and burning houses, and they just don't know. We never imagined, I think, by then that something so horrible can happen to them. At 8 p.m., the army took control over the kibbutz, and what they did is they started going house by house and rescuing, taking the people out of their shelters into the Hadar HaOchel, the dining room of the kibbutz. And the situation is that there are a few families looking at the door, trying to understand who's the next one to arrive, and when are the loved ones or the friend or the relative coming, if they're going to come at all. At 9 p.m., we got a phone call saying that they went to their house and the house is not burned, which I don't know if you all know, but Kibbutz Nir Oz was almost completely burned. But their house was not burned, and they couldn't see any, they called it violence evidence inside their house, but they are not there. I still remember the word they said, "Em lo babayit," they're not at their home, as if it's like something normal, like you go to visit a friend and he's not home, right? But unfortunately, this time it's different. We had no clue what to think or what to do. All the southern part of Israel is under attack, so we couldn't just go in the car and drive there, but they don't answer the phone, and the army, they just don't find them. And what does it mean? It has been 18 days since then, and we're living a nightmare. We're not sleeping. My husband, I think, stopped eating on that day. He lost so many kilos since then. We look to find signals or things. We ask everyone around. We watched each and every video, even the most horrible ones, to see if we see something. Even those horrible videos that Hamas took and published them, and we just try to see if there's something out there that can help us understand what just happened to them. According to the army, they're kidnapped into Gaza, but actually it's not based on something that they know, like there's not such a thing as a list, and we didn't see them in any of the videos. So the truth is that the status is kidnapped hostages, but we just don't know. 10 days ago, I think Hamas declared that they wouldn't harm all the foreign hostages. And they're citizens of Argentina, as I told you. So the first thing I did is organizing a Zoom meeting with the president of Argentina and all the Argentinian families. About 10% of the hostages are coming from Argentinian families, because many of the kibbutzim around Gaza were built by Garinim, groups who made Aliyah together from youth movements from Argentina. So within 24 hours, we organized the Zoom. He was super sensible. He showed solidarity to our pain. He condemned what Hamas has done, and he showed his very strong commitment to us, to the hostages, and he promised us that he will do everything he can to bring them back. We thought Argentina might be a good call because they do have connections and relationships with Qatar, but unfortunately, nothing happened since then. we also go to some demonstrations here in Kfar Saba and to the big tent of the families in Tel Aviv. We do interviews for radio and TV channels all around the world. We try to do everything we can, but we feel like our hands are tied, like there's nothing we can actually really do. And this is something that is driving us crazy. My kids keep on asking where they are and if they will ever see them again, and they cry and they call them and they text them, and we just don't know what to tell them. We told them that they're missing and that we don't know and that we have a strong army because they're small kids, they're young, and the army is doing everything they can, but it's very hard as days go by to explain how come no one is really doing something or just bringing them back. Before I'm done with the story, I just want to ask two things from you. First one is that, like us, there are more than 200 families that are waiting for the loved ones to come. Those terrorists, they kidnapped babies, they kidnapped children, people with disabilities, elders, and as Moran said before, we have no information about their medical condition or where they are or whether they're alive at all. And as a mother, I cannot even start to imagine what does it mean for a baby 10 months old, which I think is the youngest, to be there. Is someone taking care of him? Are they feeding him? I don't know. Are they kissing him? Is someone, I don't know. It's very painful. And we need your help. We need your help bringing them back. We need your help sharing the stories, making all the international effort and pressure and influence and everything you can from your communities, within the Jewish communities, but mostly outside of the Jewish communities. And the second thing I want to ask or share, everyone here in this Zoom call is a leader from their communities. And I think that we all go at least once a year to a Holocaust Remembrance Day ceremony. And on those ceremonies, there's a phrase that we use, and this phrase is also written on many of the monuments around the world that has to do with the Holocaust, and it says, "Never again." Have you ever thought about the meaning of that phrase? Because for us in Israel, never again is now. It is happening now. My two brothers-in-law were kidnapped just because they're Jewish people living in Israel, nothing else. I think this is a huge wake-up call for all of us, leaders of the Jewish communities, to act right away before it's too late. We need you. We need you to stand up for us and with us. We need your support. We need your help. We even need your help in bringing us back our tikva, our hope, that and to help us believe that a better future is possible for us here. And of course, we need your help doing everything you can to help us bring them back home. תודה רבה.
Moran, Dalia.
Dalia, thank you so much for sharing your story. And I just want to say something, and I think that everybody here will agree with me. You're amazing. I know that you feel powerless, but I can tell you that I look at you and I'm very proud of you. And I know that you're doing everything humanly possible to bring them back. And you're amazing. So I'm sending you a big hug from here.
תודה.
Dalia, it's Ayelet.
Hi.
I just wanted to say hi. Hi, sweetheart. Moran, thank you for the very important presentation of what you're doing. I was in the Mateh Hatufim in the family's headquarters yesterday with Doron Almog, the chairperson of the Jewish Agency. It was as maybe some of you know, he also lost 6 family members. 2 were already buried, unfortunately, and 4 are still missing. So he's actually going through this horror himself. But first of all, Dalia, I want to send you a big hug. And I want to show you that I'm wearing the t-shirt that I was given yesterday at my request in the family headquarters. And I wore it today all day long. I wore it on television as well for 3 hours. And we're all with you. And this is really what comes out of these amazing families of the kidnapped and missing people, missing Israelis, is an incredible, incredible power. You're just amazing. And I want to thank you. And I'm so, so, so hopeful that your children will see their beautiful, beautiful, beautiful uncles again. And thank you. Thank you for taking the time and sharing this with us. I think it's very, very important that your stories are heard. Thank you.
Sorry, Dalia, I just want to tell you that my name is Jack Falcon. I am from Peru. We knew A2 for a long time. He has been working with us in Anwar Atzioni as a Shaliach, and we pray for his well-being every day. Every day here in Peru, we are praying for A2 and for the safe return of all the hostages. With our all love.
Gracias.
I want to echo Ayelet and Jack and everyone. Thank you, Dalia, for your bravery and sharing that with us. And we're all with you together, praying for the safe return of Yael and Eitan. And we'll advocate however we can and share as many resources as we can with Jewish communities around the world so that we can all be part of this collective effort together. Moran, we have a couple of questions, and I hope we have a little bit of time to answer because I think they're very, very critical questions. The first from Mariana, who's with us. She mentioned the issue that we're seeing on campuses across North America, across the world, how they're becoming increasingly volatile. And how can we support universities and campuses and students, specifically Jewish students, and put pressure on the deans of universities to address this situation?
Yeah, I think that's a major challenge today. I can tell you that personally, I came back from a sabbatical at one of the leading American university about a year and a half ago. And even at the campus I was at, we saw on the first days of the war support rallies and students that were Jewish students that were feeling unsafe. I can tell you that I personally called one of the vice rectors of the provosts of the university, and I know that they have been dealing with this issue. It's a difficult question, and I think that it actually relates to Jewish people around the world, but in universities even feel more condensed. I think that the main thing we can do, and Jewish students around the world can do, is unite and work together. Because I think that the most horrific thing is to be alone in this situation. And I can tell you from my university that we are expanding our operation. We have a situation room that tried to make the case for Israel on online platforms called Actayel. Usually they deal with anti-Semitism and BDS and other anti-Israeli sentiments, but these days we're all focused on the war. And we are extending our US reach because we feel we need to find better ways to support students. So we are reaching out and trying to gather them together, and through online meetings like this one, we're trying to help them with tools and information and support. It's not going to be an easy venture. I know that each time we have a round of the conflict, even when it's not as horrific as this one, Jewish people and Jewish students are suffering. And that's why I think so important to tell you that your support is not taken for granted, because I know that you're suffering too, not just because of what's happening in Israel to your people, but also because what happened in your communities. So I think that we all need to support each other. And I guess that would be the best way of dealing with it.
Moran, thank you. We have another question from Shai, who's representing the Jewish Federation of Minneapolis. And they, among other federations, are doing a remarkable job investing significant funds in putting up billboards and electronic billboards with the pictures of the hostages. They've come across a slight challenge in that they're not allowed to put pictures of children without signed parental consent. Shai, you can jump in if I'm getting any of this wrong. And is there a way that we can help them out with this permission?
Of course. So two things in that and first and foremost, Shai, send him my WhatsApp and I'll put him in touch with the people at the Families Forum, and we'll get all the information you need in order for it to be as effective as possible. And secondly, the Families Forum, as I mentioned, works only with volunteers. But in order to expand our reach through media, advertisement, send family members to different places around the world to meet leaders, there are a lot of expenses. So if any of you are willing to help us and donate, in the webpage I posted earlier, there's a donation button you can press and take part in this effort. And thank you, Shai, and the Minneapolis community for making the case for the hostages around your area. Super important. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much. We have time for just one more question. And we've had a request for those T-shirts that Ayelet was wearing. So how can communities access them? Can we send them a way to print them locally to get that message further out there?
That's a great question. I have to admit that Ayelet got a T-shirt before I did. So I will find out. But what I do want to share with you is that we are starting an international campaign. It will start in Israel, but also in various communities around the world. And we are asking people to wear a bracelet of Bring Them Back Home. And I can tell you that all of us have the intention of wearing it until the last hostage gets back to his family members. So I'm sure that we're going to use Sam, Yael, Ayelet's help to spread the word in different Jewish communities and make sure that you all be able to receive those bracelets as well. And Sam, I promise to get back to you on the T-shirt thing.
Okay, great. So we're a few minutes after the hour. We're going to wrap up the conversation. We've put our email address, jready@jaffe.org, in the chat, so you can reach out to us there, and we will make sure to create the right connections between the relevant people. I want to thank so deeply from the bottom of our hearts, Moran, Yarchi, Dalia, and Ayelet, and our friends at Mako. It's really remarkable, all the work that you're doing, and we're here for you to help advocate for the release of these hostages, for the safety of our communities, for the safety of Israel. All of you also who are on this call have dedicated your time to this particular session, but I know dedicate so many hours every single day to your local communities and to the global Jewish people and to Israel. Lena mentioned as well in the chat, what else can we do? You know, constantly looking for things that we can do from around the world to support Israel and support each other. And this is absolutely remarkable. We've seen the most unbelievable show of support from everyone around the world. And we just have to maintain this because we have a very, very long road ahead of us. So please feel free to reach out to us at JReady, or if you have a local Jewish agency representative, if you know them, reach out to them. If you don't, you can reach out to us, and again, we'll connect you. We're here together for the long run. Dalia, we're praying with you and we're working with you, and just sending so much love and support to everyone around the world. Am Yisrael Chai. ביחד ננצח. Together, we will prevail. Good night, everyone. Good afternoon. Good morning, wherever you are in the world.
Thank you.